you returned to PWG. I think it was it the next month. I think it was the next month, and that's when you had a match with Andy Brown. And as we
Yep.
mentioned, he's tearing it up in the New England scene. And
He's so good.
how did you get the call back? Did you know at the last shows you were going back, or did they call you later on? How did that
Uh,
all come about?
I want to say that I got the email again. Andy was not my original opponent
Oh, okay.
as well. I'm glad I'm glad if it was him. I'm glad if it was with someone to be him. Uh, like as the substitution, it worked for me. It was also the last show in Reseda too. So not only did I get to be on the last days in Reseda, but I got to be on the last show in Reseda as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Again, considering that's like was a place that seemed out of reach, that's really cool that you were able to do that.
Yes, it is. Doesn't seem like it makes sense to me, but it happened. I was supposed to work Trevor Lee, and I believe he broke his foot, maybe, or he had a foot or ankle injury and couldn't make it. Uh, so they got Andy, and then we went on first, which I think was a mistake because right after us was Jake Atlas and Ray Horace. And if you were to ask me at gunpoint which of those matches I would book to open a show, it's probably the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just because I
The
said I
pace.
worked, yeah, I said definitely the pace because said all, like in my I pick it up and everything, but I said my matches aren't necessarily about speed
Especially in a
by
place like
and large.
PWG where so much of
It's
it is that fast, quick style. So I get
speed
what
and
you're saying
action
there.
forward, yeah. And I only say that because I think Dragon even said that when we got to the back. Even I think he said it was a good match. So I had no problem with the match. Just like I should have switched the order of the matches, and I thought about it, but then I chose like I didn't. And part of that is also on me as well. Like I could have cut out. We could have got to our bits a little bit quicker in between. So maybe taking a little bit too much time in between in those
Is that
spots,
something you
which
actively think about as a worker? What you're like when you're positioned on a
in
card?
hindsight, oh, please, sorry,
I
continue.
was just asking, like, your position on a card, is that something you often think about? Because I know obviously card structure is important, especially for television, but
Mm.
even like on an indie show, do you think, okay, we're the last match before intermission, so working this kind of style makes more sense. We're opening, this makes more sense. We're last, this makes sense. Or we're, third. Like, do you think about that actively, or is it more of just something you think more of in hindsight?
I think, well, for that match, I'm just talking about the speeding it up. That's hindsight. Now, depending on how to structure your match as to where you are in the card, I feel, once again, this may not be the most popular take. I feel you kind of got to base that on where you're working
Mm-hmm.
because if you're working at a place that expects every match and they want every match to go out there and be a main event, so to speak, and then you work the third match on the card, like the third match on the card, and you don't get asked back, it could be because of that. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
I feel it could be because of that. Um, but so a lot of the times, like when I find flaws in the structure, it's when I sit and just kind of do glaze over and kind of trying to make sense of like what we did, what we could have done different. And I think in that match, I think I think the things we did were fine. I think it could have been a little bit quicker to get to them.